Most casinos at least give you a free drink before they take your mortgage. But on Whatnot, they don't even offer you a glass of water while they turn your childhood hobby into a digital crack house. Welcome to the billion-dollar Carnival, where the games are rigged, the carnies have venture capital, and you're the one holding the empty bag. You remember the local carnival? The one with the sticky tilt-a-whirl and a guy named Skeeter who swore you could win a giant stuffed bear just by throwing a dull ring onto a greased bottle? Well, the ledger lords of Silicon Valley saw that and said, what if we did that 24/7 on every phone in the world? And we bypassed every gambling law in the Federal Register. Welcome to Whatnot. It's a billion-dollar app that has successfully weaponized consumer psychology against guys in their basements who just wanted to buy a comic book but ended up mortgage deep in a repack scam. Let's look at the basic math, because in this office, we follow the money. How does this monster actually breathe? They are an auction-style platform where the clock is your worst enemy. Auctions last between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. It's fast, it's loud, it's frictionless. And Whatnot is sitting at the toll booth. They take a flat 8% commission on most sales. You sell a $100 Pokemon card? They take $8. But they aren't done. They tack on a 2.9% processing fee plus 30 cents for every single transaction. Do the math. They are skimming 11 to 12% off every high-speed pulse in the app. Think about the volume. They've built a mountain of transaction fees that would make Visa blush. On eBay, you have time to think. You have time to realize that $400 for a pair of used sneakers is actually just a cry for help. But on Whatnot, you've got seconds. The seller is screaming. The chat is spamming W in the comments. Your brain's frontal cortex, the part that handles logic, just shuts off. They aren't selling you a product. They're selling you the rush of winning. It's predatory psychology at scale. They've gamified the last mile of commerce, and the ledger lords are taking a 12% cut of your dopamine hit every single time. Now we get into the shady stuff. If you aren't familiar with breaking, let me explain the most legal way to lose your shirt in 2026. Breaking is where a seller buys a box of sports cards and you buy a spot. Maybe you buy the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe you buy the New York Yankees. The seller rips the box open live on camera. If your team is in there, you won. If not, you just paid $200 to watch a video of a guy in a hoodie throwing your money into a trash can. It's a casino without the buffet. Here's the hidden system. In April 2026, massive legal filings hit Whatnot alleging these aren't sales. They are unlicensed lotteries. Think about it. If I go to a gas station and buy a scratch-off, the state regulates the odds. I know exactly how much the house is taking. But on Whatnot, I'm trusting a guy who's streaming from his mother's garage using a camera he bought with his last hit. It's unregulated gambling disguised as a hobby. And the house? Whatnot gets paid regardless of whether you get a legendary hit or a handful of base cards from 1991. It gets saltier. Enter the Shill Syndicate. Because there's no floor on these auctions, sellers use buddy bidding. They have their friends on alt accounts bidding up the price, pumping the numbers, and creating a fake sense of demand. And when they get caught, Whatnot's trust and safety team usually gives them a timeout, a 1-week vacation. Why? Because the premier shops move millions of dollars in volume. Banning them for good is like a casino banning a high roller who loses $10,000 a night. It's bad for the bottom line. The platform doesn't protect the buyer. It protects the revenue stream. It's a two-tier justice system where the biggest scammers are the ones with private account managers inside the company. As the guy who knows logistics, this next part makes my blood boil. The fake tracking phenomenon. On Whatnot, sellers are graded on shipping speed. It's a metric that keeps the venture capitalists happy. So what does a seller do when they don't actually have the item in stock? They print the label immediately. The system shows label created. In Whatnot's eyes, the seller is a hero. But the package isn't moving. It's sitting in a pile while the seller scrambles to find a replacement or just sends you an empty bubble mailer to satisfy the automated system. By the time you realize you've been scammed, the ledger lords have already paid out the seller, and you're stuck in an automated support chat with a bot named Dave who doesn't have a soul. It's a logistics shell game designed to protect the platform's metrics while the buyer is left at the port. And then there's the shadow economy. There are whispers in the industry about Whatnot being used as a massive money laundering pipeline. Think about it. I sell a rare card to a buddy for $10,000. He pays me via the app. Whatnot takes their cut. I get the clean cash. Did the card even exist? Doesn't matter. The tracking number says the package moved. When you combine unregulated gambling with a high-speed transaction engine, you aren't just building a shopping app. You're building a ghost economy. Silicon Valley doesn't care if a 12-year-old gets scammed out of a Charizard. They care about gross merchandise volume. They need those vertical lines on the graph so they can find exit liquidity. They need to sell their shares to the next group of greater fools before the Federal Trade Commission realizes the Carnival is on fire. For 50 years, the local card shop was the backbone of this industry. But Whatnot has engaged in a logistical, scorched earth policy. By allowing mega sellers to dump inventory at high speeds, they've destroyed the market floor. When a premier shop buys an entire warehouse of product and breaks it for 18 hours straight, prices tank. The local guy who bought 5 boxes for his shop can't compete. He's dead in the water. This is Monopoly Psychology 101. They don't want to be the best place to buy a hobby. They want to be the only place the hobby exists. At the end of the day, a marketplace is built on trust. But Whatnot has replaced that trust with dopamine. They want you to believe this is the future of shopping. I call it the digital carnival. And just like the local fair, once the lights go out and the trucks roll away, you're usually left with nothing but a lighter wallet and a headache. If you want to help this channel fight the shill syndicate of the YouTube algorithm, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe to Hidden Business Ops. It's the only way to stay connected to the truth before they password protect the door. Or don't. The algorithm already knows you're going to spend 3 hours tonight watching a guy in a hoodie rip open Silver Age comics anyway. As for me, I'm going to go see if I can find my old baseball cards, and then bury them in the backyard where the ledger lords can't find them. Imagine being the guy at the post office scanning 400 empty bubble mailers for a guy named Pokemon King 69. The platform calls it innovation. I call it a migraine. Good luck out there.